Here's the thing, y'all. We all set goals for ourselves, and we all fall short of those goals. Sometimes we get about 95% of the way, and we just need a little bit more to push us over. But other times, when we fall hard, and we're forced in this corner to reflect upon our lives and really ask the question of ourselves, what am I doing? Like, how did I get in this place in my life? If you're in your mid 30s, you're still living in your parents' basement. You wanted to have this dream career, dream job. You said maybe next year I'll go back to school to make that happen. But for now, I'm just going to stay at my old job and just pay the rent. And next thing you know, it's 10 years later and you're still in the same job, in the same place. Meanwhile, your friends, they've moved on and they've gotten married. They've started having kids. They've bought homes. And meanwhile, here you are with, let's say you have general anxiety disorder and you have had multiple relationship failures. Was it because of my medical conditions that ran them off? And you really start to question your own identity, your own place in life. And am I ever going to achieve my goals? Should I just not have any goals at all from this point forward? Should I just accept that this is my reality and this is my ceiling of success? And I don't know. Where do I go from here? I can't go anywhere else. So I'm just going to live with complacency and disappointment. If that is you, I want you to know that this channel is here just for you, okay? Because the fact of the matter is that we all have those seasons. And I know what you're thinking. This isn't a season. This is my life. There's never going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's never going to be hope around the corner. I know that's easier said than done, but speaking from personal experience, as one who has gone through medical just complexities and come out the other side, one who has had multiple failed relationships that have crashed and burned and have ultimately come out the other side, and hindsight is 2020. One who has spent the majority of my adult life living in dorm rooms and now am a homeowner. Hindsight is 2020, right? One who has been single for the majority of my adult life. And now I have an almost 2-year-old son. And if you are that person where, oh, good for you, but that doesn't help me, that's just the point. You belong here. When Life is Messy is the title and the end goal of this channel, is to build a community, build a network of like-minded people who are just trying to get through this life together. regardless of your place in your life, whether it be finances, career, relationships, medical complications, fill in the blank. Wherever you may find yourself, I want you to know that you have a place here. You belong where we can have that conversation. You know, oftentimes it's really, really hard to diagnose the issues in our own lives. But who are the professionals that doing that? Always. It just seems to be the case, right? It's normally outside of our parents and family. Most of the time, it is the friends who are closest to us who can see it so clearly, right? And we all need those friends in our lives. But here's the issue. Sometimes, probably most often is the case, that seeing is one thing, clarity is one thing, but being able to have something to offer some clarity, offer some guidance, offer some direction, offer some real solutions that provide a real action plan. That's a whole different ballgame. This is what I am here for. My dream, my passion, my zeal is to be that source of provision. Now, I'm not saying, full disclosure, I am not a licensed therapist. I have not gone to school for such things, but what I do have to offer, my proposition plan for you, it's like, who is this guy and who does he think he is and what does he have to offer? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. I went to school and have multiple degrees in order to become in pastoral ministry. And over a decade of experience with having those hard conversations, mostly with teenagers, but also from teenagers all the way up to the likes of my own peers. Having those hard conversations, but also providing real solutions and a perspective that can produce hope, produce a way forward, a path forward that can shine that spotlight on the path ahead, that can give you that clarity. But here's what I also know, and here's what I also will tell you. In order to have that game plan, there has to be some kind of introspection and self-evaluation and self-diagnosis. And here's what I mean. We all, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but we all have a belief system and a value system that will determine the quality and the direction of our life. In other words, we all have a source of authority that we turn to when things go to hell, right? That we always fall back on. And also, we turn to that again and again and again and again in order to find anything that will provide that escape route from the burning building, that firefighter saying, hey, this is the way out. So the question is, I propose to you, what is that for you? And I'm not meaning to get religious or spiritual, but I will propose that we all worship something. Now, I'm just going to let you think about that and marinate on that for a second before you write me off too quickly. Let me propose some, I don't know, just some scenarios, lifestyles, and hopefully you catch my drift and you'll be up to speed with me. All right. Do you worship relationships? You're that person who always has to have someone, and if it goes crashing and burning, then you're just a complete wreck. You always have to have more money. Now, I'm not talking about just to pay the bills and so on. You get a rush out of the thrill of the chase, like a lion against a prey, like chasing the money, loving the money, the chase. I hate to break it to you, but that means you're worshiping money. The truth of the matter is, there is a slew of bullet points that we can fill in the blank with that. But I can probably project that if you think long and hard, that you probably have a really, really, really good idea of what that is for you. All right, where am I going? Why are you just rambling on? Okay, all right, so I'll use an example. As a pastor, I've gone through multiple summer camps, and they have been lots of fun and lots of excitement with kids and seeing their growth. But a real life story I'll share with you that illustrates something very perfectly. A couple years back, we get to the camp. That's going to be a week long. You know, we have kids who sign medical waivers and all this kind of stuff. Standard protocol. No joke, we get there and we have not been there for 3 hours. We go into the opening ceremony that's going to kick off the whole week. Singing songs, dancing, keynote speaker, the whole shebang. And one of my students that I'm responsible for, who has a medical history, has a seizure. And next thing you know, I am hopping in the back of an ambulance, driving an hour away to the closest hospital that is prepared to handle such situations. And next thing you know, I am there until about 2 a.m. Sometimes life is, for us, we want to do. We all have aspirations, but we also all have hobbies, and we just want to get to the football games. We just want to get to the parties. Can't we just have fun and just live our lives? That is the camp in that analogy that I just used. Man, I have a breakup. Man, I lose my job. Man, I just fill in the blank, right? Life happens and interrupts us from all the fun and all the hobbies that we so long to get back to. That's that ambulance ride when the medical situation. Think of me as being the one to ride with you in the ambulance and staying with you in the hospital until your parents or whoever is able to come and get you and take you home at 2 a.m. We all need someone to ride in the ambulance with, and we all need someone to have our back and be that mediator in the hospital room. We all have to have a support system. We, as individuals, we were created to live in community. So if you want more content, and if this really does resonate with you, you're going to just want to go ahead and stay tuned, because here at When Life is Messy, I spoke about passions and so on and so forth. Not only is my professional career background in pastoral ministry, but along with that, when you study in that realm of expertise, you also get exposed to a lot of historical background and languages and so on and so forth. What that has produced in me is a zeal and a passion for world history, for different cultures who have come before us, and understanding how the world has gotten to where it is now. And when appropriate and when it makes sense, I always like to incorporate real life examples from whether it be world history, American history, governments, Roman empires, Egyptian pharaohs, whatever the case may be, to really illustrate and really bring along those stories alongside of our own stories to help us make sense of us, the story of us. And as King Solomon, if you know, or you may not, the third king of Israel in the Bible and the Old Testament. Anyway, long story short, he wrote a book, and in that book he said that there is nothing new under the sun. His point was that, man, anything that happens has already happened thousands of times before in the past thousands and thousands of years, right? It may be new to you specifically, but not to society, not to the world, not to governments and kings and kingdoms and emperors and so on and so forth. So hope you are really refreshed and have someone that is in your corner and your advocate. And man, I hope you are tuned in, locked in, and if this is really speaking to you, man, I would encourage you to drop me a like down below, and make sure you are subscribed as well, because that will, it will get you in the queue for more content just like this coming your way.